In physics, we may be asked to solve a problem in terms of variables that we're not given. So we have to be able to do something called unit analysis, and it's also called the factor label method. You have probably learned how to do this if you have taken chemistry already. So we're just going to do a review of unit analysis. So unit analysis is going from one unit to another using a conversion factor. And a conversion factor is equivalent to 1. So an example of a conversion factor would be like there are 12 months, which is equivalent to 1 year, or 7 days is equivalent to 1 second, or 1 second. What is that? 1 week. Okay, or 1 mile is equal to 1,609.34 meters. Right? So if we write them fractionally, you have 12 months over 1 year. So you can see how that's equivalent to the 1, because you have the same on the top of the fraction as you do on the bottom of the fraction. So what we do is we start with 1 unit and we convert to another unit using a series of conversion factors. So we're essentially multiplying by 1 until we get it into whatever unit that we want it to be. So let me just start with an easy example. Let's ask the question, how many seconds is a person alive before they become an adult? So when you're an adult, you are 18 years old. So we are essentially asking how many seconds are in 18 years. So I'm going to convert from years to seconds. So the first conversion factor I'm going to do is from years to days. The reason why I'm not going to do the month conversion factor is because if I go from years to months, then I'll be set with having to figure out, or going from months to days, and every month has a different number of days. So we're going to go from years straight to days. So we know that every year is 365.25 days. And this takes into consideration leap year. Right? So we use the conversion factor, and what we put on the bottom is what's going to end up canceling. What we put on top is what we want to convert to. So the years will cancel. And then I want to go from days to, let's just go from days to hours. So there are 24 hours in 1 day. So this will cancel. And then we can go from hours to minutes, and then minutes to seconds. So 1 hour is 60 minutes, and 1 minute then is 60 seconds. So hours cancels, minutes cancel, and I'll be left with seconds. Then whatever's on the top, I multiply, and whatever is on the bottom, I divide. Okay, so I'm dividing by 1 4 times, so I can just ignore that part. And so I'm just going to take 18 times 365.25 times 24 times 60 times 60, and I get 5.68 times 10 to the 8th, roughly. So 5.68 times 10 to the 8th seconds is how many seconds that you are alive in 18 years. Okay. So that's a little bit simpler one where we have just one unit, but let's do something that has more of a complex unit. So in the previous problem, or in the classwork, if you watch, we practiced a problem where we figured out the speed of light, right? So the speed of light is 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. So let's ask ourselves, well, how many miles per hour is that, right? Because that sort of makes sense to us, because that's the way we measure speed right here. So let's figure out the speed of light in miles per hour. Miles per hour. All right. So we start with 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. So I'm just going to pick one unit and convert that first. So I'm going to go ahead and write the conversion factor to take it from meters to miles. So I want meters to cancel and I want miles to stay. Well, there's actually 1,609.34 meters in every 1 mile. So my meters will cancel. Now, if I were to plug that into the calculator, I have miles per second. Now let's go ahead and convert the seconds to hours. So I want seconds to cancel, so I have to put it on top. So 60 seconds is 1 minute. And 60 minutes is 1 hour. Right? So I'll get the miles to stay, and I'll get minutes and minutes to cancel. I'll get seconds and seconds to cancel, and I'll be left with miles over hours. So whatever's on the top, I multiply, and whatever is on the bottom, I divide. So I'm going to start by taking 3 times 10 to the 8th. I'm going to divide by 1,609.34, and then multiply by 60 and multiply by 60. And I get 6.7 times 10 to the 8th. Miles per hour. Alright, so just a brief overview of unit analysis and making conversions. And I won't often ask you to do this, but now you have the tools necessary in order to convert from one type of unit to another.